Okay guys, we're going to be going over today a little bit of a step-by-step guide as to how to make your cream of rice stovetop. So a lot of the times we're in a rush, we want to make it in the microwave and we get this constant issue of it's too dry, it's too gritty, you didn't take it out on time to whisk it, etc, etc. To be honest with you, the stovetop version is actually a little bit quicker and a little bit more efficient and aesthetically pleasing on the palate, so to say, meaning that you're actually going to be able to get the proper consistency of the cream of rice. It's not going to be too dry, it's not going to be too runny, and it'll be a perfect consistency to be able to add in your protein powder. So for majority of us, we usually use around anywhere between 60 to 30 grams dry measured, so we're going to go ahead and measure that out right now. So I've already got it preset here. I'm using the Elevate cream of rice. Typically speaking, all the cream of rices are essentially the same. Do look at the back of the packaging just to make sure that your brand or your company has similar measurements, but it's essentially a 1 to 3 to 4 ratio. So anywhere between like a cup of cream of rice to 4 cups of water. In this case, we're going to be doing 90 grams dry to 2.5 cups already pre-measured and boiled water. So I did go ahead and start. So the first thing you're going to want to do is bring the water in the pot to a boil. So there's 2.5 cups in here. It's already boiled. I'm going to just heat it up a little bit more to get the bubble started. So we'll just give it a second here. While that gets going, you're going to also have, I pre-measured like a pinch of salt. You can add this to flavor. It also helps with the actual cooking of the cream of rice. It softens it up a little bit so you don't get like that sandy texture in the cream of rice. So you see your water boiling, you remove the top. Take your pinch of salt. And let that kind of sort of whisk in. So you are going to need a whisk. I always suggest using a whisk, not a fork. You don't get the exact consistency when you use a fork. So we're going to just whisk a little bit of the salt, break it apart. Now, once you see the water has kind of reached its boiling point, you are going to slightly turn it down to maybe like mid-heat. And you're going to start adding in your dry cream of rice. Now to this part, you don't want to just dump it all in and hope for the best and mix it around, right? So you're going to want to gradually add it into the boiling water. Let it break a little bit of that surface tension. Whisk it around a little bit more. And get all of it in there. And then the next key part is just to keep whisking. So at first, it's going to look kind of weird. It's kind of watery, but just trust the process. Keep it on medium heat. Keep whisking it until you start to notice it develop a sludge-like texture. This is how you know you have reached the right consistency. You're going to see it keep boiling. You can turn the heat up slightly, and you want to see those bubbles start. So this part you can do about a minute's worth. And you see it gets thicker and thicker, so the more, I guess you can say, vigorous you are with the beating. It's the only thing you should really be beating this vigorously is your cream of rice. You're going to see the consistency get more and more and more and more. And then you can completely turn the heat off, lift it off the hot stovetop, give it a couple more rounds of just beating. There you have it. Now, this isn't completely done yet, so what you do want to do is set it aside off the actual hot plate stovetop. Cover it up, let it sit for about another minute. So in total time, honestly, between the boiling of the water to the mixing and whisking to the final resting time, it's about a 3 to 4 minute process, but you're going to have a very good consistency. It's not going to taste yucky, and it's going to be a lot more properly cooked, meaning when you do add the protein powder in, you don't have to dump in an extra bunch of water just to get it mixed in. Now, side note, you do not want to put the protein powder in when it's this hot. You're going to denature the protein and it's going to come out really clumpy and chunky. So let it rest for a minute. Once you're ready, you can transfer it into your bowl or a flat plate. Let it cool off for another couple seconds, and then just slowly add in your protein powder, whisking it around, mixing it around, and you'll never go wrong with the consistency of your cream of rice. Always, always, stovetop versus microwave. Always pick stovetop. Okay, so part 2 of our cream of rice series. So this has been cooked, it has rested for about a minute. Now, if you come check it out, what I meant by the consistency will become even better, just so that we're not deceived. It has become a lot more pasty and creamy and like a typical cream of rice that you should see when you cook it correctly. So it absorbed all the water. The reason why we let it rest is the same reason why you would let rice rest after you bring it to a boiling point. It is still a type of rice, it's a grain, so it does need to still absorb the water even after you have removed it from heat, because again, all the temperature stimulus is done. Now the grain can fully absorb and you get this lovely, lovely consistency. So we're going to just transfer some of this into the bowl for demonstration purposes. You can see it comes out perfectly. This is a beautiful, beautiful bowl of cream of rice. It's not weird in texture. It's not too runny. It's not too like gritty. It's very smooth. When I spread it around, it melts like butter, so you don't have any hard pieces. And this is the perfect consistency for you to now add in your protein powder. It'll mix in super easy, very, very smoothly, and you're all set. Cry no more about sandpaper like cream rice. Excellent.